What's good, everybody? This is Cheno from NYC, and today we're going to talk about Kenya Barris and his newest show in the Ish universe. You know what I'm talking about, like Blackish, Grownish, Mixedish, all that. Whenever I hear that there's a new Ish show coming, I always think it's a joke. I'm always wrong. So apparently there's another spinoff called Oldish coming to ABC. Not sure when it's supposed to hit our TVs. So this is supposed to star Lawrence Fishburne and Jennifer Lewis. These are the grandparents off of Blackish. This is Anthony Anderson's character, who's named Andre. Those are his parents. Now, I'm all for people getting worried, but do we need this? By no means am I trying to stunt anybody's creativity because, you know, it's art, it's their art form. But I'm a consumer at the end of the day, so I'm gonna have my thoughts regardless. So for those who don't know, this is all coming from Kenya Barris. He's a writer, he's a director, and namely, he is the creator of Blackish. So Blackish, I can't believe it's been 6 years, but it came out back in 2014. And in my opinion, that's the best show in the franchise. It's the strongest show because that's kind of where everybody comes from. When he does his spinoffs, they're coming from Blackish anyway. It features Tracy Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson as the mom and dad of the family, and it focuses on them as Black parents in the 21st century raising their 4 kids in a really rich area of California. By 2018, Kenya Barris gave us Grownish. It revolves around Yara Shahidi. She's the oldest of the 4 children. She's also the oldest girl. By this point, she's off in college. She's doing her thing in the real world, having real life experiences. Some people have tried to compare it to the modern day version of A Different World, to which I will say, stop. Now, this show was relatively enjoyable. You know, I'm kind of in the age range of the Grownish cast. It is enjoyable, but it does require an ensemble cast because I just feel like Yara's character is not strong enough but isn't as effective when it comes to carrying a show on her own. Besides the point of how I feel about Grownish and Blackish, I could watch a episode of Grownish. I'm fine with it. I was okay with these 2 shows. You target a younger demographic with, you know, a pop of young cast. You know, you got Chloe and Halle, our babies. You got Yara, Luca, Trevor Jackson. You got Diggy. He's so fine. You know, all those people on that show. That's how you draw people in. Then you have your Blackish demographic who's pretty much been like holding it down, ride or die since 2014. For some reason, in 2019, Kenya Barris gave us Mixedish, and I understand in theory, but the execution didn't feel strong. Now, I should have mentioned this, but Blackish is based on Kenya Barris's family. His wife, in real life, her name is Rainbow, biracial, and I think she might be a doctor. I'm not actually sure. They have a whole bunch of kids, and they're doing pretty well for themselves in real life. So, you know, comparably the show, you see Anthony and Tracy's characters having pretty well-to-do careers with some cute little kids. It's, you know, kind of like based on his life. So the idea with Mixedish is that it's supposed to be, I believe, based on his wife's childhood, because in Mixedish, Tracy Ellis Ross, we see the child version of her, growing up as a biracial kid. Once again, super cute girl, looks a lot like Tracy. They did a good job with casting, but she wasn't given much to work with. So once again, we see the show being carried by other characters, i.e. her eccentric family members. So the mom is played by the gorgeous Tika Sumpter. Tika Sumpter's sister on the show, she's kind of, you know, wild. She's fun. The white guy, the dad, his dad's a little wild. He's funny. He brings, like, you know, the jokes from his point of view. Then you have her little brother and little sister. The little girl is super cute and super spunky and with it. She kind of carries the show. So one of my main issues with the 3 shows in general, it's not the fact that they exist. It's just the fact that it feels very surface level. What draws me in and keeps me there on the bare minimum is the cast. You will hear how much I love Jennifer Lewis in this video. I love that woman. I want to give her all the flowers in the world. She's so funny to me. She's an icon. Of course, I want to see Jennifer Lewis on my TV. I love me some Lawrence Fishburne. I love literally everybody on all the shows. But what are we doing with it? The shows always have really good intentions, but they're not able to really pull through the way we deserve. Kenya Barris wants to, you know, balance comedy with current social events. Nothing wrong with that. We've seen it done before. We've seen it done well before. That's where I'm coming from. When it comes to this Ish franchise, there's a lot of hits and misses when they try to tackle social issues. And one example I thought of for both Grownish and Blackish is the issue of colorism. I was trying to find different ones, but I feel like when it came to colorism in both shows, they didn't do well at executing. The members of the Blackish family are a variety of shades, which, you know, obviously is supposed to resemble Kenya Barris's real family. So the Blackish colorism episode starts off with Diane, the youngest daughter. She has the darkest complexion among the cast, among the family. Some way, somehow, by the end of the episode, we find the family members comforting and apologizing to the lighter complexion family members, such as, you know, Rainbow and Junior, the oldest son, and Tracy Ellis Ross's character. Now, I'm not against, you know, coming to some understanding, but it just didn't go in the direction that seemed to make sense. Now, maybe it can be because the show is, 24 minutes if you count commercials. It's only so much you can do. But it's like, try harder? Like, is it really that difficult? Make it a 2-part. Get your views in, you know? Do something that makes sense. Because it's almost as like you should have never touched it at all, you know? Grownish somehow managed to do way worse. Like, at least I can watch Blackish. I'm not psyched about it when it comes to the colorism episode, but, you know, They tried. Grownish was a mess. I wish they just didn't touch on that topic at all. I did not like what they tried to do with that. I'm not even going to get into what happened. Now, regarding Oldish, which is the new show to come out, it seems like gentrification will be the foremost social issue in the series based on what I read. I'm hoping that the show talks about aging in a way that opens up the floor for conversation and also helps to bridge generational gaps. I'm not trying to do the most with this show and make it like your after school special, but the vibe I get from Kenya Barris is that he wants to shine light on certain dynamics and then start conversations with the first 3 shows that he has, Blackish, Grownish, and Mixedish. So this new show shouldn't be any different. It shouldn't really be a problem to have that kind of expectation. Now, in general, some old people get on my nerves. Some. I love humans in general, not all old people, but in general, I feel like our society has a very dismissive nature towards older populations, and I really hate that. I really do, because we're all going to get older someday. We all deserve to be treated with basic decency and respect. You're not, useless to society just because you're a little older. So I'm hoping that beyond gentrification, if that really is going to be an issue in the show, I'm hoping that we'll have more prominent issues in regards to aging and just being older, but not being dead. You're not dead, you're just older. I'm hoping that they write it in a way that makes sense, maybe include some older writers, just to actually get a right perspective and not just write what you think should be going on. I'm hoping that these issues can be addressed in a way that is equal parts holistic and hilarious. It should be easy, right? Plus, as I've said, your queen, our empress, Jennifer Lewis, she's funny as hell. Like, you have your work cut out for yourself. Jennifer Lewis and Lawrence Fishburne are acting royalty, so I have no doubt that they can carry a scene, an episode, a series, but you can only go as far as a good script and a story allow you to go. I'm just hoping that with all these shows being added, we don't see even more of a decline in quality. I'd be curious to see some diversity in content, not necessarily for Oldish, but just for Kenya Barris in general, like him trying his hand at something a bit more serious. I'm just here for people improving their pen, period. I'm going off the track record of the first 3 shows, and of course, I know that Kenya Barris isn't the only writer. He actually brings other voices to the table, unlike some creators. Anyway, when Oldish hits our screens, I'll check it out, of course, because Jennifer Lewis is in it. If you cannot tell by now, I love that woman, but just want to give it a chance. So I'm curious to know what you think. Are you a really big fan of the Ish franchise? Are you a big fan of Kenya Barris? Did you watch that Black AF show? I think they got renewed for a 2nd season. Didn't watch the 1st season, but now that I do YouTube, I'm considering watching it just so I can review it. But beyond that, I'm not really psyched about it. Do you care much about this new installment? Do you think that he should stop at this 4th installment and stop making more issues? I look forward to hear what you guys have to say, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.